Hey everybody. So as we inch towards Thanksgiving here in the U.S., I want to talk about the Vezina Trophy race right now going on in the NHL, because I really think that the Vezina is wide open this season, and there are a number of goaltenders having very, very, very good seasons, and for the most part, they're not the big name superstar goalies that we're used to seeing. When you think of, top tier NHL goalies, for the longest time, it was names like Fleury and Holtby and Quick and guys like that, Bobrovsky. Those aren't the goaltenders that are the best goalies in the NHL anymore. Those guys have all kind of fallen off a little bit. And we're seeing a new crop of goaltenders coming up here and playing very, very, very well. And I think, when you look at this Vezina race, there are a number of guys still in it. And there's a lot of players playing, a lot of goaltenders playing extremely, extremely well right now. And let's just start with Darcy Kuemper in Arizona. Certainly not the biggest name when you think of NHL goalies, but Kuemper has been absolutely outstanding this season. 16 games started. Now, his record isn't as good as you might think. 9-6-1 on the season, but his save percentage and goals against average lead the league among starting goaltenders who have played at least 10 games. His save percentage is .934, which is absolutely ridiculous, and his goals against average is under 2 at 1.98. And that's through 16 games, so it's not like this is a small sample size either. Kuemper is the starting goaltender in Arizona, and he is getting the job done this season. Right now, I would say he is probably my lead favorite for the Vezina Trophy. Those numbers are just absolutely outstanding. To have a goals against average under 2, this day and age in the NHL where scoring has gone back up over the last few seasons, that's just absolutely incredible. Another guy to watch who is actually kind of splitting starts, and you could say watch both of these guys, but Thomas Greiss with the New York Islanders, he's splitting starts with Semyon Varlamov. Greiss has started 11 games on the season. Varlamov has started 11 games on the season. They both have outstanding records and outstanding numbers, but Varlamov doesn't really have Vezina level numbers this season. Thomas Greiss does. Thomas Greiss has a .930 save percentage in 11 starts, 2.15 goals against average, and a 9-2-0 record on the season. Greiss is absolutely in the running for the Vezina this year, and I think the only thing that might hold him back from that is the fact that he is splitting starts right down the middle with Varlamov, and he's not the clear-cut number one on that team. But still, despite, splitting starts, the numbers speak for themselves. They're absolutely outstanding. 2.15 goals against, that is awesome. 930 save percentage is unreal. I mean, I look at a 915 save percentage is really good. A 920 save percentage or higher, in my mind, puts you in the Vezina conversation. If you can finish the year with a save percentage that high, 930 or anything above that is just absolutely unreal. And Greiss right now is playing some really, really good hockey in goal for the Islanders. And the Islanders, once again, are one of the best defensive/goaltending teams in the entire NHL, just like they were last season. And they're winning a ton of games just like they did last season. And they are, I think, a clear front runner in the Eastern Conference right now. One of the biggest names that's actually playing at a Vezina level this season, don't forget about Tuukka Rask in Boston. Tuukka is having an outstanding start to the season for the Boston Bruins. 15 games started, an 11-2-2 record with a .928 save percentage and a 2.18 goals against average. Those are absolutely Vezina level numbers for Tuukka if he can keep it up all season long. He's an inconsistent goalie who over the course of his season usually has some really, really hot stretches where he's one of the top 5 goalies in the league, but then also has some really cold stretches where things go bad and you generally need a good backup to come in and hold the fort for a little while. Now, Boston does have a very good backup in Yaroslav Halak, but so far to start this season, Halak's played well, but it's been all about Tuukka Rask. Tuukka has been on fire to start this season. We'll see if he can keep it up. Again, he is an inconsistent goalie a lot of times. So we'll see if he can keep up this level of play for an entire season. But for right now, he's absolutely playing at a Vezina level and in the Vezina conversation. Jordan Binnington. Jordan Binnington has already started 19 games for the St. Louis Blues. It shows how little faith they have in backup Jake Allen. But Binnington has been really, really solid to start this season. We all know what he did last year coming up from the AHL around midseason, leading the Blues through the second half of the season into the playoffs and then through the playoffs all the way to winning the Stanley Cup. But we didn't know if that was just a fluke hot season for Jordan Binnington or if that's how good he actually was. I'm telling you right now, that's how good Jordan Binnington actually is. 19 games started, 11-4-4 record with a .926 save percentage and a 2.23 goals against. I don't know how anyone could possibly complain about that. Fantastic numbers for Binnington in St. Louis this year. And I'm telling you, this kid is the real deal in goal. St. Louis has their starting goaltender of the present and the future in Jordan Binnington. I'm sorry, I've got a couple more here. I know this seems like a lot, but like I said at the beginning of this video, this race really is wide open so far this year. And there are a number of goaltenders still in the running for it and looking really, really good. Ben Bishop in Dallas, who was a Vezina finalist last year, is having another incredible season this year. And he did not get off to the best start. Dallas as a whole, as we know, had a terrible first few weeks of the season. But have been absolutely on fire since then. In the month of November, Dallas has just been unbelievable. And Bishop has really gotten his numbers back on track. 17 games started this season, a 9-5-1 record, many of those losses coming early in the season. He's been outstanding since then. .926 save percentage and a 2.23 goals against average. Just same numbers as Binnington with goals against and save percentage. Just absolutely outstanding. And if, Dallas has marched their way from near the bottom of the Western Conference all the way back up to second in the Central Division, and Ben Bishop has been a big reason why, as has Anton Khudobin, who's been great as the backup. But Bishop being the starter there has really played a big, big role in that. And my final guy that I want to talk about is Robin Lehner, again in Chicago. I thought Lehner, he was my pick to win the Vezina Trophy last season. I wanted to see him win it when he was with the Islanders. I thought he had an outstanding season with New York last year. And now New York decided to go in a different direction with Semyon Varlamov. I thought, we could see a potential drop-off in play from Lehner now that he's moved over to Chicago, who doesn't exactly have the greatest decor in front of him. But we haven't seen a drop-off at all with Robin Lehner. He started 12 games this year. He's splitting starts with Corey Crawford, but he has absolutely been by far the better goalie for the Blackhawks. Now, the record isn't all that great because Chicago isn't all that great. He's 5-4-3 on the season, but his individual numbers are absolutely outstanding. .938 save percentage and a 2.38 goals against average. Just absolutely insane numbers for a goaltender playing on a team that really isn't very good this season. So, if Chicago can get better as a team and start to win some games, I think you're going to see Lehner's numbers get even better, and he'll certainly start to pick up some wins. But his individual performance has been absolutely outstanding. You couldn't ask for anything more from Robin Lehner. And we have not seen a drop-off in his play at all. So it looks like, Robin Lehner is here to stay. And after some tough years early in his career, some really bad years with the Buffalo Sabres, between last year and now what he's doing this year, it looks like Robin Lehner has finally found his game at the NHL level. Finally, finding a home at the NHL level and looks to be playing really, really well again this season. So I think that the lack of wins and the fact that he's on a bad team is probably going to hurt him, or probably he's not going to win the Vezina in Chicago unless Chicago ends up, going on a huge win streak and finally, moving into being a playoff level team. But so I think being in Chicago will hold him back Vezina-wise, but he certainly has Vezina-level numbers to start this season. So I know that's a lot of goalies, but this race in my mind is wide open. There are a lot of goaltenders right now playing at an elite level, playing very, very good hockey, and their individual numbers show that. If I had to pick a top three, if the season were to end today and I had to pick a top three for Vezina finalists, I think Darcy Kuemper would certainly be one. Tuukka Rask would certainly be one. The third one, I think, is a little bit tougher of a choice, but I would probably either go with Jordan Binnington in St. Louis or Thomas Greiss in New York. I think Binnington, being the full-time starter and already playing 19 games, would probably get the nod there. So if I had, my three Vezina finalists at this point in my mind would be Kuemper, Rask, and Binnington, and Darcy Kuemper would get the win in my mind if the season ended today. But that's just my opinion. And with that, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description below. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our Patreon and merchandise store are down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you soon.